All right, welcome to the Eric J. the Great podcast show. We got a special guest on the show today, Bria Thomas. How you doing?
I'm good, Eric. What about you?
Hey, doing all right. Uh, got some good topics on the show today. It's not often that I hit on something gearing towards the females, but the last time I can think I did a topic relating to females was when they dropped that abortion law last year. I did episode today that controversy was going on with my aunties, but as far as like the fourth trimester and postpartum, I think that's something that's relates to why I started a podcast in the first place, relating to the mental health aspect. Mental health is very important. And a lot of people don't take into consideration, what a woman goes through after she gives birth to a baby, as far as like her mental and emotional feelings and things like that. Because I hear people talk about it all the time. I ain't never just had like a real long and depth conversation about it.
Right.
So,
Oh,
so,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. What's your opinion on it?
So, as far as postpartum, yeah, so I know me personally, because I'm like a year postpartum. I wasn't personally prepared per se for postpartum, but when I talk to people about it, I know they automatically assume like depression or anxiety. But the thing about the postpartum phase, it's like so much more than the depression and or anxiety. Like you have women that deal with like hair loss, and that can affect like someone's mental health, especially like if they use their face for their profession. You have women that have like endometriosis, fibroids prior to getting pregnant, but after they have this baby, that's something that they still deal with. Women that like get their tubes tied, and like it's so many different aspects. So mental health for the postpartum woman is like very important after she has that baby. And a lot of times after having a baby, everybody's like baby, baby, baby. But it's like, what about mom? And then, if she's breastfeeding, that's a whole nother different world. That's a 25/8 job. So I could talk about it forever. So it's a lot.
So, as far as people that's gonna hear this episode, before I dive in on it, uh what is the end goal that you want people to know, male and female, about the importance of people being aware of postpartum and what women goes through after they have kids?
Um, you said what is the end goal? You said I want people to know.
Yeah, like what would you want people to take from this episode, like when they listen to this, as far as like oh, I ain't never thought about it that way, because I have some men look into this episode that probably got kids already. They probably never took into consideration, like, hey man, I don't had two kids. I ain't know, my girl was going through that, when she was delivering my kids and stuff.
I want people to realize that like it's okay to have like maybe baby blues or feelings of sadness, but like if you're having like thoughts of like maybe hurting your baby or hurting yourself and stuff like that, that it's okay to get help. And also for like men that have wives and girlfriends and sisters and stuff like that, like just listen to the signs and symptoms. And even if somebody's like, oh, I'm okay, it's okay, and stuff like that, even that stuff, like just listen to it and always just be a good support. Because during that phase, support is needed. So any kind of break or support, if you can, like if you have a family member, just listen. Like women are not joking, or it's not anything to take lightly, because there have been people that have killed themselves just due to a plethora of like a hormonal imbalance and things like that. And a lot of times women are afraid to maybe like tell the doctor because you don't want nobody knocking at your door, trying to take your kids, or it's so many the thought process because I don't even think like how I did before I had my baby. So you just it's crazy. So just for people to understand that it may happen. If it happened the first child, it's more likely that it may happen with the second child. And there are ways that you can kind of like pre-plan per se for it. And also just being a support to those loved ones. Because there are little signs that you can tell that someone needs help.
Absolutely. I think when I think about it, when you had sent me the message the other day, first thing I thought about was counseling. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of people that don't probably don't have 3 or 4 kids and never took the time or probably even had the time, because sometimes you might not have the time to really assess your mental health after you deliver a baby. 'Cause
Hmm.
then sometimes, depending if you're in a good relationship or your relationship with your significant other is up and down, they might not be tapping into, you know, that compassionate side to see, oh, she just delivered a human. So,
Hmm.
like, let me see if she's back to her regular self, if she's feeling like is her confidence down, or, just little things like that.
Right. Um, yeah, counseling is definitely like needed. Um, and therapy, it's not anything to be ashamed about, but just somebody you could talk to. And even like I'm in the whole birth world, so they have like postpartum coaches, um, different perinatal coaches that specialize in like postpartum depression and things like that. But it's also good to, get therapy or a counselor. Like if you have insurance, there are even like free counselors and stuff. Um, and maybe I could share those resources later on. I don't have them on the top of my head, but I know they have like groups, Black maternal mental health, things like that that help with postpartum awareness.
Okay. So as far as nutritional deficiencies, as far as like the US population, the are you wanting to touch on like us compared to other countries? Because I was just talking about this the other day, because when I was in the military, I've been to 8 different countries. And when I look at other countries like Korea, Japan, countries like that, like they have no obese, they rarely have any obese people. Fast food restaurants don't even sell large size combos over there. And the food is more organic. It's not like how we make it more lazy as far as like being processed and things like that.
Right.
So I think that I mean, that's been an ongoing thing for a long time as far as like our nutrition. We got so many people walking around here with high blood pressure, diabetes, and a lot of stuff could. And some of these people not even overweight per se. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
know people that got diabetes that ain't even fat.
Mhm.
They might have just had a certain stint in their life where they just weren't eating the right things, or it could have been hereditary. Mom and dad probably had it, and it was easy for them to catch it once they start eating the same things their parents was eating. So,
Right.
because I know in my family, high blood pressure is like real common. Like a lot of people I know in my
Mhm.
family, like in the past, passed away for heart
Mhm.
attacks and things like that. Just from especially in the minority community, everybody love that soul food. Love that swine. So everybody
Mhm.
eating those ribs and those pig.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
And And it's like with us, it affects us differently than it affects other cultures. And then on top of that, with us being minorities like Hispanics and Blacks and Native Americans and stuff, our living conditions, not everyone, but as a whole, are way different from some of the other cultures. And then too, you have the whole thing where in the hospital, like we have the highest rate of death, after having that baby and things like that because certain needs aren't getting met. You have some people that go in with like I said, there are women that have other conditions prior to getting pregnant, like the whole fibroids, autoimmune disorders, some that, that drug users, um, history of miscarriage, all these different things that go in. So the death rate is a little bit higher for us too. And as far as the nutritional deficiencies, yes. And it's like, and I noticed in other countries, I haven't studied it in depth, but I do know like some of those moms in other countries, they get like a whole year off uh after having a baby, where like in the United States, mom goes to work maybe after like 6 weeks and things like that. And so when you go back to work, if you don't have like a chef or somebody that's pre-planning your meals, you just may stop and get a chicken sandwich or something like that. So then now your milk production is going down because you really weren't prepared and you're kind of going back to old habits. So, and then again, with the nutritional thing, that affects our gut, and our gut is our second brain. So when you have all of that going on and you're not eating the right things, it definitely does play a part in the mental health of a woman that's postpartum too. It all plays together.
So as far as nutritional deficiencies, what do you think will be the solution for people to get on the right track, male and female, as far as like, do you think we need to resort to like what other countries do by, growing our food, making it more organic, not relying on, people using these machines or whatever processors they use to for the meat and things like that, after they kill the animals?
Yes, I do think, and I see a shift in the like our communities, as far as more people are growing their food, growing their herbs and their plants and veggies. I see a lot of people doing barter for barter. Well, hey, I have a chicken and I have a cow, let's trade, or stuff like that. And I also think too, one thing I've learned, like just with holistic health, sometimes we go straight to like, well, I got to change the way I eat. And sometimes when you've been eating a certain way for like 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, it can be really challenging to just say, well, I'm just going to go vegan or something like that. So I think the first step would be managing stress first, then managing sleep. And then once you have that energy, you can manage your stress through like journaling, exercising, gardening, any kind of self-care, you can get better sleep. And then once you get better sleep, you'll have the energy to put into eating better and prepping your meals and shopping and growing your own food. So, yes.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like our great grandparents and things like that, all of them used to live to like 90, 100 years old. Cause I mean, they still ate bad things,
They
but
did. Yeah.
they lived off the earth. Like a lot of they side dishes and things like that, they was growing their stuff in their backyards and things like that.
Yeah, they were raising their own animals, so no antibiotic. They didn't need the antibiotics and things to get their animals big. And like even my grandma told me like they made their own soap, like all of that stuff. And I think she said they may have went to the store for like sugar or something, but they really didn't go to the store like that. So it would be great for everyone because then, to get into that. But I see it happening slowly, but it's definitely happening. And it's cheaper too.
I think most of it is just a business. Everything is a business in the world.
Mhm.
And I think part of, the way our food is now is like population control. Because I feel like we overpopulated. So I feel like they know that everyone, like the white way everybody should be eating, but
Right.
they were never promoted because people will live longer, and that will mean, more wear and tear, more money the country had to spend on, people occupying space and, things like that. Just like with the healthcare system.
Mhm.
Like, I'm pretty sure they got cures for some of these diseases out here, but they would never tell us because they make so much money off the medicine.
Mhm. Right. And like you said, like, of course they know how we should eat, but they'll tell us the opposite. Like for instance, we grew up thinking like, oh, dairy is just so good for bones, but really dairy causes like mucus and stuff like that. And so, of course, if we knew that, we probably wouldn't have ate as much cheese. But having doing so, like, of course, there are more patients in the hospital when things like COVID happen. You have all these people that are getting sick and blah blah blah. So yeah, and of course they make more money off of it. So I definitely, yeah, see what you're saying because it's a big money scam thing.
Cause yeah, I already did a couple episodes about holistic health. I don't had some people send me some sea moss and all type of things. And I think it's just crazy how corrupt our country is. But it's just like, hey, they just be looking at it like, hey, we got this sea moss sitting on the shelf, and we got these slab of ribs sitting right here. How much money we gonna make more off of? We're gonna make more off these ribs than this holistic health because most people it's not even gonna take 5 minutes to read to see the benefits of it anyway. So
Right,
they just
right.
get it and be like, oh, what is that? Oh, then go grab whatever they was gonna grab when they came in there.
Yeah. And like nowadays, everyone is so impatient. It's like even when they do take like what some people take sea moss and herbal teas and stuff like that, it's like it's not gonna be instant results versus, taking a pain pill or something like that. It takes a while. It takes lifestyle change to even see results from taking the sea moss versus, you eat a slab of ribs, you eat it, it feels good, you get full, you go to sleep, sits there maybe for a couple of days. I don't know, eat some more ribs.
And I know I was listening to what you call it because I follow him a lot, Kevin Gates.
Okay.
He's real big on his health now. And
I see that.
he's real big on fasting. And he was saying that, fasting cures a lot of stuff. He was saying, like, before he started, eating a certain way and changing up stuff, he said he would start himself out on like a 4 or 5 day fast until he built himself up to he's like now, like he does a 41 day fast 3 days, I mean 3 times a year. And he was like, every time he gets sick, he was like, he ain't been sick in like 2 years because he was like, when he got sick the last time, he just fasted. And he said all the stuff just started coming out of his body. He was like, when he used to eat a lot of pork and stuff, he was like, his body felt so bad. He said when he was using the bathroom, he could see the stuff coming up out of him when he started eating all the stuff, when he started detoxing and then he started drinking certain stuff to detox his body and things like that. And he kind of motivated me to start getting on the fasting thing. I used to fast, I'll fasted like twice in my lifetime with church. Church, they'll tell you to fast around certain times, but
Mhm.
I ain't ever thought about just putting it in my all around everyday lifestyle, like having a fast at least once a month or things like that. And he says he only eats 1 time a day.
I saw that. I did. I saw that. Mhm.
So he said he gets up and he said he said he drink water or like a tea or something, and then like freaking he don't eat till like probably like 5 or 6, and that's the only meal he has the whole day.
Mhm. And you know what, Eric? I've been watching Kevin Gates too, and just kind of seeing his transformation too. Like he looks different, and it's like in the holistic community, I know a lot of people talk about intermittent fasting, and they talk about like, well, breakfast or break fast. That's when you break your fast because we do fast really every day because when we stop eating to where we go to sleep, wake up. That's typically a fast when you first eat. So I know me, one thing I started doing, like, to help eat like, with my mental health, because I noticed, like, when I was eating bad, like, those postpartum cravings, like, I started feeling it in my mind, and I was like, "I don't feel right," but I was eating horribly. So, I started, like, in the morning, instead of, like, drinking juice, like he said, drinking water or herbal tea or eating fruit and not putting the like pancakes and eggs and turkey sauce, that stuff, that heavy stuff on my stomach. Cause I mean, it really don't even have no nutritional value. and that meal is so important. And then I've been trying to do the intermittent fasting. I've read 12, some people do 12 hours, 14 or 16 hours. 16 at first was a bit much for me, so I'm starting back with 12. So I won't eat for 12 hours, and then at 12 noon, I will start with like a herbal tea or some watermelon juice, something for my gut. Then.
Yeah, because I think that when it comes down to holistic health, I think that because it's hard to go on that journey by yourself.
Hmm.
I think like it'll be easier for some people to persuade a couple of your close friends or family members to go on the journey with you, and then everybody just hold each other accountable as you going through the fast or whatever you're doing as far as like eating different. If you're cutting out pork or if
Hmm.
you're cutting out ground beef and you just eating seafood or turkey. I know some people they just eat straight salmon. Like all they eat is salmon all the time. Like they don't eat no or seafood. Like they don't eat no uh beef, pork, rarely eat turkey. And it'd be like
Hmm.
a turkey burger or something, but that's rare. But they just do look like a straight seafood diet.
Mhm. And the thing I found out about seafood sometimes, like with the shrimp and crab too, like those are kind of like bottom feeders too. So like in my thing with turkey is sometimes like a turkey sandwich is too fresh. Like that taste that turkey have, it's like that bird taste or something. Like I don't know, I don't like it. But I do like ground turkey. But I do, yeah, people I've seen like the pescatarian and even like with vegan, I've heard some people say like I guess it's a certain way you do it because people go vegan and say, well, oh no meat, but they'll still get sick because a lot of vegan food is processed too. And my if you're gonna go vegan or vegetarian, my thing is to eat like just eat vegetables and fruits the way it is. But when you start adding impossible burgers and a whole bunch of bread and like these different meat substitutes and these cheese substitutes, it can kind of get tricky because some people get sick. They get worse than what they were before going vegan. So my thing is like if you're gonna eat, a veggie burger, like, take some black beans and some quinoa or something like that and smash it up and get like some chickpea flour or something and like do it that way instead of a processed burger if you can.
So are you currently on a journey right now as far as like your diet? Like have you switched your diet up? Like as far as like starting to like take certain things out?
I have. I started back in like 2018. I cut out the pork. I don't do pork all the way down to like my toothpaste and stuff. Like I don't do that. Um, I don't do shellfish. I'm not really a beef, red meat, steak eater either. Every now and then I'll have like, it's hot, a cookout, but it's like it's not even the meat from like Walmart. It's like from like it's quality like maybe like Whole Foods or from a meat market or something like that. But it's like once or twice a year. And I mainly eat vegetables and stuff. I'll go weeks without meat. I only drink water, herbal tea, and I like juice. I like to make my own juice. Every now and then I'll get like a peach juice or something, but I try to stay away from the sugar and certain meats and even certain places and stuff like that. I have select when I'm in a rush, select places I'll stop and get like quick food, but I don't do like McDonald's, Burger King. I don't do any of that.
So when you first started going through this journey, because the thing that really gets people when I talk to people about when they first switch up their diet and things like that is that detox period. It's almost like a person that does drugs. Like your body is adjusting to not having that. And,
Mhm.
and as a period of time passes by, like Kevin Gates was saying, you'll start seeing that stuff come out your body. Like he was saying, like, when he went a long time without eating pork, he started seeing like little uh
Parasites.
I guess yeah, like coming out when he was using the bathroom, when he was taking a dump, and What do you think? What experience have you had when you just cut everything out? And as far as your body, like adjusting to not having those things that you ate majority of your life.
I can't say, and I do, and I'm not trying to be nasty or anything. I do look like after I have like a bowel movement, but I can't say that I've seen any parasites. I don't know. I haven't seen any, but as far as other changes, I notice like my mind a lot of the times, like I can't explain it. Um, it's not like not that it was foggy, but it just seems like I'm not more alert, but I just think like I don't know, like my mind. I can't really explain it. It's just
Was
I
it
don't think like
fresh?
hmm?
Is it more fresh?
Right, like it's like I don't think like I did previously. I noticed that for sure. Like my thinking is just way better than what it was 5, 6 years ago. Um, as far as other changes, like my hair, isn't breaking anymore. Nails are stronger. Nails are way stronger. And overall, when I eat clean, especially if I'm eating a lot of fruit and vegetables, I do have more energy and I don't feel bloated. I don't feel that bloated, tight feeling and stuff like that. And also for women too, again, I'm not because I'm a registered nurse, so I talk about bodily fluids and all that stuff. So, but I'm not trying to be nasty, but like even women like on their menstrual and stuff like that, when I did start cutting out, or when I did cut out the pork and the shellfish and like the sugar and stuff like that, like I went from like a 7-day cycle to like a 3, 4 day cycle,
Mm,
just from eating better, drinking more water. So yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of benefits to switching up to your diet and stuff. And I know a lot of people, like I was touching on before with the seafood, people was telling me that they switched to the seafood because it's less fattening and they feel like how you describe, like they don't feel bloated when they was eating the soul food and stuff. So
Mhm.
I know I got an uncle, like he eats salmon like every day. Like
Yeah.
he just does it like in a different way. Like he might grill it, he might broil it, or he might just do something new, twist to it just to switch it up. But he does that with one vegetable and one
Mhm.
starch, like every day. Like he's very consistent about it. Like,
That's really good. Yeah, and then I know like with us when we cook the soul food, we put all the butter and the sugar. It's just not it feel good and it tastes good, but eating it for 20, 30 years are clogging up them arteries, man, and
man, we got some people in my family, man. They walk around like Teletubbies, man. We're like, man, they've
mhm.
been eating those sweet potatoes for so long, they can't even walk straight no more. They gotta
Yeah.
go like this.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I have some in mind too. And then it's like you don't want to wait until you're 50, 60 years old and the doctor's telling you, giving you a bad news and now you want to try to, it's like we have to kind of think about, what are we eating for? Like we've been taught like I guess to eat what tastes good, but sometimes you have to like eat your medicine too. So you won't have to take the medicine long term or don't wait until you have to take it to like try to find an alternative now. Like, our bodies are intelligent. They gonna tell us like when you see that hair breaking off and that skin peeling and that urine is kind of brown, it's time to kind of switch it up.
But you want
So
to know something that's so crazy about this topic? Like people would take a lot of things serious, and
uh-huh.
I'm guilty for this too. I could take anything serious in my life, but everybody always pushes off that diet. People come to me like, "Hey, you need to eat better," and I'd be all right, man. Shoot, I ain't tripping. Like people just don't prioritize it for some reason.
Right. And then some people say, well, we're gonna die of something anyway. So why not, and it's just like, well, I personally feel like if I can control something, I'm a controller. I can't stop someone from, doing a random shooting or, crazy stuff or whatever. And that's true. We're all gonna die from something. But if I can control what I put in my mouth, like I'm gonna do that. Like I'm not gonna eat cupcakes every day. with a
Right.
sweet tea. Like, I just can't do that to my body. Like, again, I work in the hospital and I've seen it all. Like, I don't want to be there. No. So, it's and again, when you eat better, you literally feel better. Like you have more energy. Like I postpartum, I was 235. I'm 201 now. And at first I couldn't even cross my legs, but now I can cross my legs again. And that feels good. So
Yeah.
mhm.
This diet thing has been on my mind a lot lately because when I was in the military, we used to work out so much, and I used to be on top of, like, I still ate bad, but I still was on top of my diet more than what I am now since I retired. Like I used to eat more baked stuff, then eat at late times. Used to do meal substitutes like breakfast and lunch. I used to do smoothies from Smoothie King protein, and then I would eat dinner, actually baked food. That would be the only food I would have. So that's what I used to do when I was real on my workout stuff every day.
Okay, that's good. So what do you like what happened? Like what changed from then to now?
Well, when I got out, I was like, I just wanted to be a pig. Like I was like,
Okay.
and freaking staying under a certain body weight because of the regulation in the military and staying under a certain body fat percentage. I was like, man, I want to eat. If I want to go to corral 3 days in a row, I deserve
Okay.
that because I all freaking went through this getting forced to work out every day for 8 years. Like
Wow. Dang.
it was really
Okay.
like I had to just take a
Yeah.
breather from doing it, but it's been on my mind heavy, and I really want to get back to doing that type of stuff. Even when I go out to eat and stuff, stop getting these T-bones and stuff like that. Just do a salmon or do like a big one of those big because a lot of these sit down restaurants they good when it comes to the big salads. Get like grilled chicken in it. There'd be a lot of salad in there too, so you can get full off of it.
You're right. And I think you can definitely do it. Like it all starts in the mind. So you acknowledging that is perfect. It's a perfect start. But I would definitely say, even with your favorite foods, like I don't know if you like mushrooms, but apparently mushrooms have a billion and one great benefits. And I see a lot of the vegan community using like maybe a portobello mushroom and like grilling it. Of course, it's not a steak, but just kind of using it per se as a steak. And it's so many, like, especially with social media now, it's so many different ideas. Like if you want to substitute your favorite food, and just find a replacement. Like for me, I love fried foods. So when I'm going without fried foods, I'll get like tofu and put it in the air fryer and like kind of make it like orange chicken or teriyaki chicken. So it gives me it takes away that crunch, that craving that I'm having. Um, so there, I think that's good. But I tell people to, if you really want to change the way you eat, start with like if you're having any stress, whether it's just work or whether it's actual like stress, start with managing that, then, manage your sleep and then go into like the food. So you have the energy to in the mindset to, meal prep or however you're gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I got my friend. I'm glad you brought that up because I need to call him. He was hitting me the other day, and he it's a guy that specializes in meal prep. He's one of the best guys up here. A lot of people. He's makes a lot of money off doing people meal preps, and he does it
Mm,
for the whole week. Like he can do it all 3 meals every day for a week, and he'll put you on a thing. Like if you gonna buy from him consistently, he can already have it done for when next week come around and things like that. And I know my buddy, he's like 50 and he's cutting back. He lost like 30 pounds just from eating different. Like he wasn't even working out or nothing. He was
mhm.
living his regular life and just eating at the right times, not eating past 7, 8 o'clock, just and not just having just the right enough portions, not too much.
Mhm. Yeah, that works. I remember, yep. one time I wasn't eating past 6 and people used to laugh at me, but that weight, it like fell off because I mean, after the sun goes down, we're supposed to technically eat with the sun. So when it, rises and sets, we're not supposed to be eating at 12 and 1 o'clock at night. So yeah, that helps too. And have you heard about like I know my godmom was telling me that like at Sam's they have like this, oh, and it's so good. I tried it. This like rotisserie chicken in the, oh my gosh, it's just so good
You talking
because
about that rotisserie chicken they be selling at Walmart, like the little small chickens.
yeah. Well, she said she got it from Sam's, but it didn't have salt in it, but it was seasoned really good. And she just said she uses it in meal prep. So like for someone that's, starting off or, maybe didn't have the money for meal prep, like buying something like that, maybe some like low carb tortillas for like wraps, and then like just putting some veggies, roasting some veggies in the oven. Like it takes no time to do that.
Yeah, yeah, meal prep is definitely something that I'm gonna have to fit into my everyday thing because I know me personally, I don't want to take a whole day on my off day to
Yeah.
in for 7 days, but I know if people got some reasonable prices, I'll mess with them on a meal prep because I know people that does it for the whole Monday through Sunday, and they got real favorable prices.
Right. Yeah, meal prep is I don't think I've done it for myself, but I've never ordered it. But I was looking at some people too because it's a game changer to just go in the refrigerator and grab something and go. And I have to think about, what am I gonna eat today? Or, what am I gonna feed these kids today? So,
Yeah, that's why a lot of these big time athletes they be living their best life when they 55 years old because they don't have them chefs putting them on the right portions. They freaking eating the right things. They really rarely have to go outside their home and eat like that. So when
right.
you got that meal prepping 365 days a year, not putting any bad carbs or anything like that in your body, that makes a difference. I know a lot of people say, that your ligaments and stuff get real strong when you start eating the right way, especially when you get
Mhm.
older, like your knees and stuff don't give out, you know, things like that. Because I know I'm a big fan of Dr. Sebi, all
Mhm.
some of his products and just off his whole story, him being 80 years old and being able to sit on the ground and jump on a desk off,
Mhm.
off his knees because his ligaments were so strong. Because
Mm.
all he did was do herbs, everything he put in his body was natural. He never did any processed thing, herbal teas. Like he was like completely healthy, like and they assassinated him because he actually beat the federal government in trial. He was gonna prove them wrong because he had the cure for cancer and AIDS, but they couldn't let that get out.
I know it. Wow. When I heard that, I was just like, wow. And I think about like Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC, like way back before she passed away. She was, working with him and stuff like that. And of course, I was still in elementary school, so I didn't know what they was talking about. But now that I'm older, I understand like, why they were working together, why she like went to Honduras, and why she kind of isolated herself and just really kind of healed herself with his help, and apparently she helped him. And that's crazy because 80-year-olds nowadays, I don't know personally know too many 80-year-olds that can do what he did, like physically. They're on a water pill or some blood pressure pill or they're having strokes. And it's like, man, wow, it's just something to think about sometimes. It's something to think about. Mm.
But yeah, I think this would be very beneficial information for everybody that's probably in their everyday lives that's thinking about these topics, especially the postpartum. That's the one that resonate with me the most, just because people have kids all the time, and
Mhm.
people don't take into perspective of especially not just significant others and immediate family members, just society in general, jobs and
Oh yeah.
like that, like taking into consideration, like, hey, she might be at work, but she might not be her normal self. Her mental might be
Mhm.
off. She might be not neglected her baby on purpose, but just going
Mhm.
through the motions of, being absent emotionally. That can take a toll on the spouse and the kids. If you had other kids that's around before you had your newborn, that takes a toll on the whole family, when a woman
Mhm.
is not there emotionally.
Right. Right. And I guess my goal or what I want to do, I want to help this population of women, like, just get back to a level of balance. Because the hormones, after you have a baby, they're already off, just physically, mentally, and emotionally, but they shouldn't stay that way, if that makes sense. Like, so just helping them take the appropriate steps to get back to a new normal.
Absolutely. But I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and anytime you want to come on, because I like having open discussions like this about random topics. You can come on anytime.
Okay.
About police brutality. Fake friends,
Okay.
child support, 50-50 in relationships. Like, ain't no
Okay.
topic not up for discussion. You know.
Okay. I will keep that in mind and I will spread the word. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. And uh yeah, you told me Marva Riley, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I
woman.
interviewed her a couple times. She the one that was on me about writing a book.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes, I love Marva. Yes, I met her probably 2 years ago via Facebook. So,
yeah, she's a good person.
mhm.
Hey, you have a good night, and this concludes another episode of the Eric J. the Great podcast. And stay tuned for more dope content on the way.
Thank you. Bye.